I'm the instructor for the river engineering course here in the BE department, and it's a design-based course where we do a service learning project. And we are here out at the site today for the design project, collecting the surveys that we'll use for evaluating fish passage at a set of culverts, and then we'll do a design to determine the feasibility and desirability of different alternatives for fish passage at the site.
I'm 85 years old, and I can remember my dad used to have a bridge across the river here. Now this is all floodplain here. About 90% of this land here goes underwater when we have a major flood.
Yeah, it's to help the fish migrate through this culvert. It's the lowest barrier in the Calapooya Basin, but also to meet the landowner's needs to reduce the maintenance around these culverts. There's a lot of wood debris that gets piled up on them, and to reduce flooding impacts if possible. The first set of data that we'll be using is to evaluate what the current passage condition is at these culverts for spring chinook, winter steelhead, and Pacific lamprey. And then once we have a sense of what the passable ranges are for fish, for high flows and low flows, then we can better design an alternative, and that's what the final design project will be for these students.
We're trying to come up with some sort of alternative culvert design, and so we're going to use this technique called stream simulation to design a new culvert for this area.
We're going to take the data that we get today on like stream width and then slope and sinuosity, and then we've taken a bunch of GIS stuff, and so we're going to put that all into computers and hopefully get some thing back that makes sense.
I think there's a few things that are really helpful. One, being out in the field I think is really useful to see where the data come from and the challenges associated with them, so we develop an understanding of what the data are and what the limitations of them are. But the real goal is to get a real hands-on design experience. And this is a problem that's out in the community that people needed to address, and I think it's good for the students to be involved in those types of projects, to see what the landowner concerns and needs are, and to try to match that with what regulators are comfortable with and will issue permits for. So it's walking through the whole design process, data collection up through permitting design. That's I think the goal of the class.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good experience for us to be out here and see how things really go. And this is something that one of us could be doing in the future if we get into culvert work, so it's definitely real world stuff.
Yeah, the biological and ecological engineering department, in my experience, has been one of the best departments to have this sort of connection from what we're doing in the lab and on computers to what we're actually trying to measure outside and perform for the natural ecology and wildlife.